think it's safe to say he's not going to play, a huge number of minutes. This is part of the process, the last step of the process of rehabbing, like he's had. So we'll throw him out there for short bursts, and he'll go from there.
I'm sure like the next month is about figuring out like which lineups make sense with him, but how curious are you to see lineups where, Draymond's at the center and, him and Jimmy out there, kind of those small ball?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to get to that lineup at some point. My gut is BP should be with that lineup. But maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. I'm thinking about BP's playmaking, but with Jimmy and Draymond, maybe we have enough playmaking. Maybe we could put a shooter out there, Moses or Buddy. So that's definitely a lineup that we're thinking of.
Hi, Steve.
Hi,
I know you probably addressed this the other night, but with Steph on the brink of this milestone, when you first started coaching him, could you ever have imagined these kinds of records that are here in front of him, and what do you think it means in the big picture?
Yeah, I mean, I never could have imagined. I mean, he was obviously a great three-point shooter, and but something like that requires incredible longevity. And here we are a decade later, and he's just making 300 or 400 every year, and it's just crazy. But what I think of is that first year, and then maybe even more so the second year that I was here, so 15, 16, he just changed the entire game. He changed the way everybody thought about the three-point shot, and I think second year he started taking 3 or 4 more on top of the 6 or 7 that he was already taking. I think he got up to 10 or 11 per game that second year. Ron knows the numbers because
he knows.
8 to 11, I think.
8 to 11, yeah. But to me, it was more a psychological shift with Steph, which then translated to the rest of the league. It was like, oh, wait a second. Okay, we can actually play this way instead of like getting set up and making sure every shot was a good shot, which was the way I was raised as a basketball player and how I thought of the game as a coach when I got here. By that second year, it's like, oh yeah, no, Steph, shoot every time you get the ball.
Well, I was going to ask you, did it change your thinking?
It did.
Because
yeah.
Obviously your first year there were a couple of famous, no.
Yeah. Somebody said we recently had the 1-year anniversary of me doing all that going crazy. But I do think it changed the way I thought about both Steph and Clay shooting the, what I call the crazy shots. The crazy shots were going in 40% of the time, so that nullified the craziness, and so I realized those are good shots. But I think what happened with the league was the rest of the league started, players started working on their three-point shots more, and teams started loading up with three-point shooters. And in some ways, they were ahead of us because we just wanted Steph and Clay to shoot all the threes, and then Kevin when he got here. So we believed in the three, but we believed, I know this sounds crazy, but we believe your best shooter should shoot all the threes, And then I never thought about, let's have 5 guys who can shoot threes, and that's where the league has gone. And so, but I think Steph started all of that for sure.
And obviously he turns 37 tomorrow. You doing anything for his birthday? You getting him anything special?
What do you get for the guy who has everything? Maybe I'll give him a day off.
To get to where you guys want to go this season, how imperative is it to get JK playing the way he was before the injury?
Well, we just need him to play at a high level. I think we have a very different team now than we had then, and so watching clips from that time, we were running a lot of stuff through him, and so what we have to see is playing next to Jimmy and Steph. Can he find his way in that lineup and playing a little bit more off the ball? I'm very positive about it because Jimmy has made every guy better on our team, because of the way he plays and the fundamental nature of his footwork and passing. You know, the game kind of continues because of Jimmy. And if it continues, and it means, you know, JK's catching the ball and attacking a closeout, that's a good thing. So I'm pretty positive about it. I think Jimmy's going to help make JK better, but there's going to be part of this on JK for him to adapt to the team that he's now joining.
One more Kuminga question. Is there any element of his game that you're watching particularly closely tonight? Like one part of his game that will show you, you know, he's back or he's close to himself?
No, I mean, I'm not trying to put any pressure on him. I think I don't have expectations for him tonight other than just play hard. You know, as long as he plays hard, crosses the glass on offense, you know, sprints the floor, then good stuff will happen. But rhythm takes time, especially if you've been out 10 weeks. He'll find his rhythm, but I'm not expecting him to, you know, tear it up tonight and be right back to where he was. That'll come.
Coach Kerr, this is a follow-up question behind Ann's to Steph's efficiency. I think he only shot under 40% in his career behind the arc. What do you have to say about that? And you did say, you know, the longevity, you know, and that type of work. I mean, it's a God-given skill, you could say that, but it seems like it's been a lot of work just to work on the efficiency part.
Well, he puts the work in every day, but I think what stands out to me is his unwavering confidence. You know, he can have a 1 for 10 game, and then the next game he just, you know, he's even more likely to have a big night from 3. Some guys, it goes the opposite way. That's how it was for me. If I had I never got 10 shots up, but if I had an 0 for 5 night, I was not feeling very confident the next night, and that's how most human beings are. Not Steph, you know. So that's what allows him to shoot, you know, that high percentage year after year after year. It's I mean, the obvious skill and the work that he puts in, and you know, the beautiful stroke. I mean, that's all pretty obvious, but it's the unwavering confidence. It's amazing to watch.
Coach, to kind of follow up on what you said a little bit earlier about Jimmy and JK, JK can find ways to score, and he's able to kind of just be a scorer and impact a game, but now, like you said, this is a different team for him. Where do you think his game could grow specifically with Jimmy Butler on the team? He's a guy that helps to develop young guys, and of course, this is a young guy you guys want to continue to develop. Where do you think his game could grow if he does have to adjust to maybe somewhat of a different role?
Well, I've talked to JK the last few weeks a lot about watching Jimmy play because the footwork is impeccable, the decision-making, the simplicity of his game is something that JK can take note of. JK is really talented, and sometimes the most talented guys have the most items on the menu to choose from, and it can be difficult to make good decisions. And so, as a young player, that talented, you kind of have to make mistakes and learn when to attack, when not to. And I thought when JK finished, you know, those last 5-6 games before he got hurt, it was the best decision making I had seen from him, simplifying things. So that's what I want to see, you know, going forward this last part of the season. And Jimmy's a perfect example of him, of that for him. The reason that's so important is if you eliminate a couple turnovers a game and you just make a simple decision, and instead of a turnover and the ball going the other way, Steph Curry's getting an open 3 on the backside of an action, your chances of winning skyrocket. And this is why we're winning right now. You know, and this is what I've explained to our whole team. We are winning because we've found a good 2-way format. We've got to get back to the fewer turnovers. The last 3 games we've gotten away with some turnovers. We're not going to get away with that for long. So my whole thing is simple decisions lead to a really good 2-way format for us, and that's what we're looking for.
Steve Draymond, I think during the road trip, mentioned, I think it was somebody made a shot at the buzzer. It's like, we have to take that shot. Other guys maybe, you know, they let the buzzer go and oops, they go put the shot up afterwards. And Steph makes sure that shot has to go up. is that a team rule, or is that just a discussed because Steph does it and it's good to try to, you know, you don't care about that percentage dropping if you miss that? Is it just discussed amongst you guys?
We don't really talk about it. Steph just set a tone years ago by taking that shot, and you've seen us practice, and you know the guys are launching half-court shots all the time in practice because they're fun. But I think now they just kind of take pride in the fact that if you get one at the end of a quarter, let it fly and get it off in time. But that really all comes from Steph. Thank you.
Thank you.